All righty, you are looking live. It's sold out MetLife Stadium where today the 16-0 and playoff bound New York Giants are taking on the 0-16 Los Angeles Chargers. And why are the Los Angeles Chargers 0-16? Because they suck. They ain't never won a Super Bowl. They went to one Super Bowl, got smoked by the 49ers after the 94 season, and only won one championship ever. That was after the 1963 season, I do believe, in the AFL. They went to five of the first 6 AFL championship games, lost 4 of the 5. They ain't won nothing in about 60 years. The San Diego / Los Angeles, whatever city they're from, Chargers suck. They just suck. Oh, man, I love that, baby. Welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody out there at all that's going to spend a little bit of time with me here this evening, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. If anybody's going to spend any time watching the replay this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. I'm going to try to go 30 minutes here tonight, shoot my mouth off for about 30 minutes. Anybody got anything to say, please feel free, fire away. Throw in the chat box. Usually try to check on the chat box every 5 or 10 minutes or so. So as soon as I see something in there, I try to respond to it as fast as I can. So please feel free, fire away. But plus also, seriously, I mean, instead of me just rambling on for half an hour, 45 minutes, or whatever it might want to be, it's just nice to talk to another Giant fan. So please feel free, fire away. Before I get started, if anybody wants to help support my channel out, it would mean the absolute world to me. In the description box below, very top link in the description box takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. Bet my buddy Randy on here. 3 different membership levels. The first one's called the Saquon. Second membership level I got is called the Lawrence Taylor. And the third membership level I got is called the Gridiron. Each one's got their own little perks to them. So if you want to help support my channel out, it would mean so much to me. And I would thank you in advance. Thank you. If you are subscribed to my channel, once again, thank you so much. I can use all the support I can get, guys. But if not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way, next time I go live, or if I put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge, right? What do you got to lose? But if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. Maybe if you give this video a thumbs up or share it, that'd be freaking awesome. And then finally, also just a little ways down in the description box, there's 2 additional links. The top one's a Facebook link, which I'll go over in just a second. The one underneath it, I'm an old-time fart, can't stand change. I'm one of them old-time grumpy guys. Get off my lawn, right? One of them old-time farts. I hate change, right? It's a Twitter link. It's always been Twitter to me. It'll always be Twitter. Always will be Twitter. Whatever letter of the alphabet Elon Musk wants to call it, that's on you, bro. I ain't calling it that. It's Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. I'll follow you back. That's an absolute promise. I try to put Giants-related stuff in my Twitter account every day. And then the link just on top of that takes you to my Facebook group, which is called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. We have over 8,100 members in the group. It's doing simply marvelous, might I add. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing, and if I have internet access, I'm putting stuff in this group darn near 365. And not only do I put stuff in this group, but the members post stuff in this group as well. So between me and the members, there's a boatload. There's a ton. There's an awful lot of New York Giants information going in this group every day. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. Please join it. You won't be dissatisfied. I promise. Promises, right? Well, when all that stuff's said and done and out of the way with, well, I tell you what, we got the quarterback kind of time, right? We got J.J. McCarthy, little Michael Penix, Daboll said, nah, I'm not going to check out Maye. I'm going to fly 3,000 miles away to check out Penix. But apparently he's going to also be seeing Maye as well too. Now a lot of this also has to do, a lot of it's just like due diligence, see now obviously, we're seeing like, quite possibly Maye, and you keep hearing more and more about McCarthy. I mean, now we're starting to hear McCarthy might be number 2 overall. I mean, what the is going on here? Absolutely crazy. But as I said, a lot of it's just due diligence. I mean, obviously that too. I mean, the Giants are, if the Giants were picking 2, right? They got, it's a smorgasbord, right? But they're at the mercy, of what's going to be left over, because obviously the Bears are going to eat first, and then the Commanders are going to eat, and then if the Patriots stay where they're at, they're going to gobble up some food, and then who knows if if anybody's going to, the Vikings are going to trade up with the Cardinals, and the Cardinals are going to move back, or maybe the Giants, whatever. They've fallen in love with somebody, going to trade up with the Cardinals, and the Giants flip-flop 4 and 6 and all. But pretty much the Giants, you're going to get to the dinner table, and they're going to look around and see what's left over. Because basically there's probably quite possibly 3 quarterbacks off the board. And that's, once again, they're just doing the due diligence, right? Because let's not forget, if he's flying 3,000 miles to see Penix, okay, Penix ain't going in the top 5, right? His biggest thing would be, obviously, and you don't want to see Giants bringing somebody in, injuries, right? But he's had a bunch of, apparently all the injury, they kind of, the medicals, were okay. Apparently at the combine, everything was okay, but, he has a propensity, I guess that's the right word, of getting injured. And, just because maybe he got, and no, they're okay, everything's fine. Just the thing, and he's had so many injuries, especially quite a few of them ended his, let's take a look here. Let me see here. Quite a few of them ended his seasons, shall we say. Let's see here. Nope. Oh, wait. All right, here we go. Bam. Let's see what we got here. See if this works. Nope. Let's try this again. Select the tab to share. Nope. Have a window. Nope. Let's see here. I'm playing with this stuff here, kind of like for the first time here, so you got to bear with me here. This is quarterback, J.J. McCarthy, Drake Maye. Yep. Well, let's see here. Hold on. Oh, there we go. Okay. Now you see here, right? You don't usually see this. My goodness, right? We're talking, NFL ready, whatever you want to call it. Right? Here we go. Okay. You don't usually see this where guys played 6 seasons, 6 college football. Usually, back in the day when I was growing up, you're a freshman, then you're a sophomore, then you're a junior, then you're a senior, then you're in the NFL. Here it's a freshman, it's a redshirt freshman, sophomore, redshirt sophomore, COVID, red shirt COVID, blue shirt COVID, yellow shirt COVID, purple shirt COVID. Then you're a junior, then you're a red shirt junior, then you're a red shirt and a pants junior, then you're a junior, junior this, junior that, junior, then you're a senior, then you get nowadays you can go 35 years in college. You can be 152 years old and make it in the pros. It's crazy, absolutely crazy. A lot of it also has to do with the COVID year as well too. But 6 seasons in college. I would really like to see somebody, do stuff about that. It's all fine and fancy, but 6 seasons in college, really 6. But anyway, he's thrown almost 1,700 passes in college, right? So if you're talking somebody who's thrown the ball around, right? that would be him. I mean, you could see here. I mean, a lot of, this past season, he played 15 games. 2022, he played in 13. But you can see these here. You know what I mean? With some of it, seasons got ended due to injuries, right? But I mean, if you're looking at somebody NFL ready quarterback, that would be him. Okay, almost 1,700 passes, 96 touchdowns, 34 interceptions this past season. 31-8 right here, and 36-11. So what do we got? 67-19 over the past 2 years. His quarterback ratings is obviously through the roof. Done. What do we got? Almost 5,000 yards passing. I mean, that's phenomenal. Obviously, of course, we are looking at 15 games though too. Right. I mean, because I remember back in the day. I mean, obviously we're going back about only 50 years ago, right? But I mean, I like Notre Dame, right? Back in the day, Notre Dame's playing like 9 games. If they go to a bowl game, that's 10. It's like if you had double digits in games in college, it's like, ooh, wow. They play 10 games, maybe 11. 11, maybe. Just maybe. I mean, now we're playing like 15. It's like they're playing as many games now as like pro teams are. I mean, it's crazy. But once again, it's all about the Benjamins, right? But then we go to the other end of the stratosphere, right? Where basically, and I'm not saying McCarthy and Penix, I'm saying they're horrible and one guy's better than the other, not like that. I'm just saying we go from almost 1,700 passes, and then we go down to, right, 700 passes. He's done almost 1,000 less passes, okay, than Penix has. But, the one thing is like I'm going to go over an article here with McCarthy. Giants are bringing him in, bringing McCarthy in. Oh, what's up, Ruben? What's up, buddy? Hey. But apparently they're going to be bringing him in, right? I mean, obviously it wasn't today or whatever it was because Daboll's across the country. They're not bringing McCarthy in if Daboll's not here and all that and everything. But once again, a lot of they're just doing their due diligence, right? So I mean, they have private workouts they can have whole meetings with guys. They can take guys to dinner and all that. So they're just doing a lot of just their due diligence. And once again, a lot of it's, they don't know. They can say, man, we love McCarthy. Or we love that Daniels, dude, that guy's a freakish athlete, but whatever. But he may not be there. He may not be there at 4. And a lot of it's got to be, I mean, unless the Giants fall in love with all 4 quarterbacks. Who knows? Maybe. I doubt it, but maybe. Then you can maybe make that switch with if the Cardinals are open for business. Because I said the one thing you want to look at, okay, as far as with the Cardinals, okay, the one thing they got to look at, okay, especially if it has to do with the Giants, especially if that's somebody jumping up the trade with the Cardinals. The Cardinals got Murray. All right, as of right now, it seems like they're rather content with Murray. Okay, and if we have to question, and I kind of question Murray a little bit. Okay, but if we have to question Murray, all we have to do is go back and look what the Cardinals and Murray did in Philadelphia. Okay, I forgot what week it was. The Giants beat them in week 18. I don't know, it was week 16, 71. The Cardinals had nothing to play for. The Eagles, right, are battling out. The Eagles were at home last season, right? The Cardinals went in there and didn't whoop up on them, but they beat them. All right, so so I'm sure they're content right now with Murray. So the beautiful thing is that they're not looking for a quarterback. What we got? What do you think about Vikings trading the Giants? We give them 6th-round pick, and they give Justin. Woo, man! Did you hear that from some? I mean, you're gonna hear all kinds of stuff. I keep hearing a lot of stuff about the Vikings want to trade Jefferson or something. I mean, I'd have a hard. You got one of the great, one of the best wide receivers, if not the best wide receiver in all of football. Why would you want to get rid of that guy? But the thing is, if they're going to, give them a 6th-round pick. They give Justin Jefferson and the 20th. Wait, no, they get the 6th-round pick or pick 6. You mean pick 6? The thing is, if they get the 6th pick, if they're jumping up for the 6th pick, they may not get their quarterback. If they're looking for a quarterback, they still might have to jump up. They still might have to trade with the 6th pick. I mean, get the are they jumping up for pick 6 for a quarterback or for a wide receiver? I mean, or they're going to try to couple pick 11 and pick 6 and move up into the top 3 or something like that to draft a quarterback. But I mean, man, I tell you, because when the thing is that, when you got a stud like Jefferson, man, I tell you what, that's, he's somebody that you want to build around, The problem is with the Giants, okay, is that, they're going to have to pay him. Jefferson, what's he going to want? $30 million? I've been a lot of crazy. There's a lot of crazy stuff out there. The thing is with Jefferson, somewhere along the line, yeah, I've seen it. Oh yeah. But the thing is, it's like with a Brian Burns, right? That's a great, but now you have to pay him. I don't know when Jefferson is due his, but it's going to be soon, right? He's going to want to get some Adoree Jackson. And the problem is the Giants got, Andrew Thomas. We got Sexy Dexy. Kayvon, after this season, he's going to be getting into his 4th season, somewhere along the line. He's going to want a little Adoree Jackson. Then, of course, you got Burns. If we're going to be paying Jefferson $30 million a year, it's like, but hey, crazier things happen, right? We'll have to wait and see. No, well, I'm dying for a Deke, maybe special. A Deke? I'm dying for Deke. Deke. Maybe special. Drake Maye. Gotcha. Yeah, gotcha. Oh, okay, I gotcha. Well, I mean, was it Daboll wind up didn't say Maye, but he's going to be, I guess, working him out or whatever. Oh, well, hold on, let's see here. Let me see it. Where's Drake at? There we go. Now Drake is right along the same thing as with McCarthy. Drake you got McCarthy and Drake. They neither one have thrown 1,000 passes in college, right? We got Drake here has thrown 952, which is more than the 713 that McCarthy's thrown. But you also have to look at it too. Is with McCarthy, right? He's with Michigan. What does Harbaugh like to do? Run the ball, right? So. So I mean, McCarthy only did what it was asked of him, basically hand the ball off a lot of times. I mean, you look at what do we got? 15. Okay. So we look at this here. He's played 15 games. He threw 332. That's what the heck is that? 15. That's what, like 22 passes a game. He throws. I mean, that's not a lot in today's college. I mean, we got guys throwing the ball 22 times and a half. He throws the ball 22 times in a game. So that's not a whole heck of a lot. And you look even here, the year before that, he had played in 14 games, threw the ball 332 times. That's like maybe maybe 23 times a game or something like that. So he was not asked to throw the ball a lot. That is for sure. Where are we at? But the Giants will hold a private workout for Mr. McCarthy. There you go. Yes, it's another story linking quarterback J.J. McCarthy to the Giants. This time we have a report from Pat Leonard of the Daily News that the Giants will hold a private workout with McCarthy and that they will send a group to Ann Arbor, Michigan on Easter to do so. Ooh, okay. General Manager Joe Schoen and head coach Brian Daboll did not attend McCarthy's pro day, but the Giants did host McCarthy for a visit in East Rutherford. ESPN reported earlier in the week that a lot of people think the Giants guy is J.J. McCarthy. Well, once again, I mean, I've seen reports, once again, a lot of this could be just smoke and mirrors. But I've saw something that linked the Commanders with McCarthy. And if the Commanders want McCarthy, guess what? Giants ain't getting McCarthy. That may be the case, and it might not be the case. Even if he is their guy, the Giants might not be able to get him. Yep, it appears that they will have to move up from number 6 to make that happen. And with the teams like Minnesota, the Raiders, and the Broncos, this let's not forget, because also it helps take the Falcons are out of the running because they got Cousins. Because the Falcons were a little better striking distance or striking shape or whatever you want to call it than the Vikings, the Raiders, and the Broncos, because the Falcons are number 8. For them to jump up in front of the Giants wouldn't cost them as much. But I was saying before is that the one nice thing is like with the Cardinals, if the Giants, for whatever reason, wanted to jump up and take the 4th overall quarterback or, whatever, where the Cardinals wouldn't mind flopping with the Giants is because the Cardinals could drop back 2 spots, maybe pick up a 3rd-round pick. I mean, before the Jets and the Colts, when the heck was that, 2018? Yeah, Saquon year, the year of the Saquon. The Colts were the Jets were 6, Colts were 3. For the Jets to jump from 6 to 3, it gave up 3 second-round picks. So for the Giants to go from 6 to 4, I mean, I don't know what it cost. It would cost probably at least a 3rd-round pick, at least. So the Cardinals could go back from 4 to 6, pick up at least a 3rd round, if not a 2nd round, right? And they would have still a pick of 2 of the top 3 wide receivers on the board. So they're really not losing much of anything. So, but then the Giants could jump up, and if the Giants, like the 4th quarterback, that's right, the 4th highest rated quarterback or whatever that's left. They like that person. Okay, then maybe they'll make a trade, but they're not making a trade right now. That wouldn't be something till like the night of the draft, when after pick 3 comes off the board. That's when the phones will be ringing. That's when the phones will be lighting up in the Cardinals in their war room, right? That may be the case, and he may not be. Even if he is, the Giants might not be able to get him. It appears that they might have to move up from number 6, right? These 3 teams, the Vikings, Raiders, and Broncos, all potentially in market to try to go ahead of the Giants. There is no guarantee the Giants could fashion an acceptable offer to move up. So, well, I mean, because as I said, the one thing is, right, is you got maybe is a Josh Allen type. Could be. But the one thing is, with the O-line being revamped, I'll take it. Well, I mean, honestly, I can really see that happening, because the Giants are just about almost 100% guaranteed to have almost 99% guaranteed, okay, to have one of those 3 wide receivers there. And just from all the stuff I'm hearing, you can't go wrong with any of those wide receivers. I mean, right? So the nice thing is if we can revamp the O-line, maybe we have Hyatt, we get Robinson, we draft whatever, Neighbors, right? And then I said maybe next, if we draft the quarterback, I don't know. We're going to get one in the 2nd round, maybe 3rd round, maybe one of the guys later on, right? Maybe try to develop somebody. I said, and then after Waller winds up leaving, maybe somewhere along the line, maybe next year where you can draft or pick up a free agent tight end who's a good weapon, receiving tight end. Give the Giants some nice weapons there for the quarterback to play with. Well, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, I said, if they take a wide receiver, I wouldn't be bummed out about that at all. Not at all. Where are we at here? Well, but let's see here. Giants coaching visits to pro days revealed 2 solid draft strategies to replace Daniel Jones. So, according to Mike Garafolo of NFL Network, the Giants made sure they were present to see Drake Maye of North Carolina's pro day today, although Daboll wasn't there, okay? And sources told him the team is set to meet with Maye officially in the coming days. But Garafolo also made note of the fact that Giants head coach Brian Daboll flew 3,000 miles across the country to see Michael Penix Jr. at his Washington pro day. today. Unfortunately, I mean, there he is. There's the bald-headed man right there himself, right? He's talking to the University of Washington defensive coordinator, Steve Belichick, right? The Giants are clearly putting in work at the quarterback this cycle more than any other position. This brings their total visits with quarterback prospects, combines, formals, private workouts, and pro days up to 9 in just the past 2 months. That's more than any other position group this draft season. But how do they actually land one? That's a good question. Possible Giant quarterback draft strategies. Given how desperately the Giants need to replace the embarrassing level of play Daniel Jones gives them at quarterback, well, it's embarrassing. Well, he's not quite as embarrassing if he actually can stand in the pocket for more than 2 seconds without getting his head ripped off. And he might even be not quite as embarrassing if he had a number 1 wide receiver to throw the ball to, something he's never had. Right? Besides, I forget, basically his number 1. Ever since Daniel Jones pretty much stepped on the football field, his number 1 weapon has always been a running back. Okay. The team has 2 key strategies that they could utilize on draft day. One, they could obviously trade up for one of the top 4 quarterbacks, given how interested they've seemed to be, especially when J.J. McCarthy and Drake Maye had in recent weeks. However, they move all the way up to pick 2. They would be overpaying in draft picks, perhaps an additional future first and more. Yep, to move up just 4 picks. I don't even know if they're talking about moving up to trade with the Commanders. I don't know if the Commanders would trade with the Giants. I'm not sure of. Giants seem to like multiple quarterback options up top. Well, I mean, again, sometimes you're getting confused with, Daboll saw Penix, and then they went and they saw Maye, and then they saw that. Well, I mean, they might like them, may not like them, but I mean, they're doing their due diligence. But sometimes, let's not forget, also, we try to out-strategize ourselves and all that and everything. Yeah, well, Bellinger, I mean, he's got good hands. He's got to do a better job blocking, but he's not like a threat. You know what I'm saying? It's not like the defensive coordinators from the other teams aren't like, oh man, that Bellinger, I'll tell you what, we gotta keep an eye on that guy. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm saying like have somebody like if we can ever get like a wide number 1 wide receiver, and we got Robinson and maybe Hyatt and Slayton or whatever, right? But if we get somebody who's a nice threat as a tight end, like a Shockey that we used to have. Remember I don't know if you remember, but back in the day, we used to have Shockey, and we had Toomer, right? Plaxico Burress. I mean, now you got some threat. We got Tiki Barber in the backfield. Eli Manning throwing the ball. I mean, now you got some threats there. You get that threat at tight end. That's what I'm talking about. Bellinger ain't no threat. If he's open, you throw him the ball, he'll catch it. But, he's not, But let's not forget, also, see, sometimes when the Giants are bringing guys in to talk to them, or they're going to go see them, or this or that, or working them out and all that stuff, sometimes it's not that's our guy. Now, sometimes what they're doing is nope, they're crossing them off the board. They're like, nah, don't like this guy. They hear things where they see or whatever, they hear a report, they see stuff on film or whatever, and they go and they talk to the guy, or they work him out, or they see his workout or his pro day, whatever like that. And they're like, yeah, no, guy can't hit those passes, or the guy can't do this, or I tell you, the guy just doesn't seem to have it inside or whatever. He answered our questions, but there's some guys you talk to, they're like, they're leaning into you. They're staring at you. They're like foaming at the mouth, answering questions like they're ready to knock your head off. They're ready to snap the ball, coach. Let's go, baby. I'm ready to go. Other guys just don't maybe seem to have it or something. So sometimes they're seeing these guys, or they're talking to them to cross them off the board. Nope. Don't want this guy. You know what I mean? So just because they're seeing a guy doesn't mean, they want him. No. Sometimes it's the exact opposite. They're going there to see if maybe something they heard might eliminate them. So you can't always, obviously, just because they're going to go see. I said a lot of it's just due diligence. That's all it is. I mean, also obviously that too. Don't you want somebody, your coach and your GM and your staff? Don't you want them going places? I mean, why? We need a quarterback. How come they're not out looking at Maye? Or how come they're not talking to McCarthy? We need a quarterback. How come they're not going out? Michael Penix. They didn't send anybody out to see Michael Penix. Well, no, they're doing their due diligence. They're everywhere. They sent people to see Maye, right? But, Daboll can't be at Maye and Penix at the same time. So he sent some people to go see Maye, and he went out to see Penix, right? And then they're going to be bringing McCarthy in. Right. Let's see. The Giants seem to like multiple quarterback options up top, so they would work best deal they can with the Commanders. I mean, the Commanders need a quarterback. I don't know why the Commanders would trade with the Giants. That doesn't make much sense. Then leverage that to land at 3 or 4 for a much better value. Options are certainly there. They don't focus too hard on getting up to pick to number 2 specifically. Yeah. But then the thing is that they, for them to do that, I mean, for them to trade up, I don't even know if the Patriots even want to trade. They need a quarterback. Right? So, I mean, I don't even know, the Giants would have to, be in love with quite a few of these quarterbacks here. Right? If a deal doesn't get done somehow, 4 quarterbacks come off the board ahead of the Giants selection, they could attempt what may be the best bet to build around a new young signal caller. Anyway, given the Giants' interest in Michael Penix Jr., the team could try and trade down out of the 6th spot to secure him later in the first round. But there's a specific, perhaps optimal way to position themselves to make that more likely. Ooh, okay, what is that? Giants should aggressively move to make multiple trade downs to acquire a mid-round pick so that they could then move back up slightly into position to leapfrog other quarterback-needy teams that may take a stab at a quarterback to start round 2. If the team can move back in front of teams like the Saints and the Raiders, they may secure the quarterback 5 in the NFL draft of their choosing. Well, it could be Penix or Nix. And if they do pull off multiple round 1 trade downs, they might also be able to keep a few extra mid-round picks to help build around whoever the team drafts. There are several options for the Giants if they want to acquire a quarterback to replace Daniel Jones. Leveraging a deal with the Commanders to inevitably take the best deal from the Patriots or Cardinals might land them a higher upside prospect. But even if they can't, Michael Penix Jr. would be a nice consolation later on. Absolutely. I said with Michael Penix, I mean, he's thrown 1,700 passes. I mean, let's see, Bo Nix, what has he got? He's thrown 1,900 passes. I mean, Bo Nix throwing almost 2,000 passes. And he's played 5 seasons. Okay. He's got 113 touchdowns, and he's only thrown 26 interceptions. Quarterback rating of almost 150. Now, this is with Auburn and Oregon, right? So, and you look, he's been relatively healthy, right? 14 games, 13, 10, 11, 13. Even his first season, he played 13 games with Auburn. Okay. 4,500 yards, 3,500. You know what I mean? So, yeah, he only completed 77% of his passes this past season, right? 45 touchdowns and 3 interceptions, right? Then, of course, you got Jaden Daniels, the super freak. He's super freaky, yeah. He had phenomenal, obviously 40 and 4. I'm sorry. He also had, I believe it was 10 rushing touchdowns this season as well. So, his past season, Daniels counted for like 50 touchdowns overall. I mean, phenomenal season. Absolutely phenomenal season. But let's not also forget that, he also has quite possibly 2 first-round wide receivers he was throwing the ball to as well, too, right? So, like I said, now a lot of this, you don't want to get too caught up with a lot of this stuff. As I said, just kind of like doing, a lot of it could be just due diligence here. We got Giants head coach skips the Drake Maye pro day to watch Michael Penix Jr., but he will meet with Maye. Right? Daboll isn't among the contingent of New York Giants officials at the North Carolina to watch Drake Maye's pro day on Thursday. Right? But NFL Network's Omar Ruiz posted a picture of Daboll talking with new Washington defensive coordinator Steve Belichick, where he's going to watch Michael Penix Jr. at the Huskies pro day. For Mike Garafolo, Daboll will be with the Giants when they have a meeting and private workout with Maye in the coming days. Daboll not being in North Carolina doesn't mean anything, especially since the Giants reportedly have another meeting set up with Maye very soon. So, Albert Breer reported last week that the Giants hosted Maye and Michigan's J.J. McCarthy for top 30 visits. Pat Lerner of the New York Daily News, the Giants will send a contingent to Ann Arbor for a private workout with McCarthy on Sunday. So the guys are keeping very, very busy, keeping really, really busy. Giants president and CEO John Mara told Garafolo at the league meetings he wouldn't stop general manager Joe Schoen from drafting a quarterback, but he believes in Daniel Jones and everyone in the organization expects him to be the starter next season. Well, absolutely. I mean, he'll be the starter. Without question, he'll certainly be the starter, right? As long as he's healthy. As long as he's healthy. And even if the Giants were to draft one of these quarterbacks, don't look for them to get in there. Especially if we got a Locke, right? We got Daniel Jones and we got Locke. If we draft, whatever, say we drafted Penix in the second round, just throwing something out there, right? Don't look for Penix to be playing, unless the Giants, whatever, are getting blown out 45-0 or something, or both, or if Daniel Jones and Locke get injured or something like that, right? But, if you do draft somebody, look for Daboll to want to get his hands on him and mold them and all that stuff and everything before putting him out there under fire, shall we say. All right. So even if we draft somebody, don't look for no Daniel Jones kind of thing where in week 3 of the season he's in there running in and starting the game in week 3 of the season. Don't look for that. Look for whoever we wind up drafting. If we do draft a quarterback, whether it's first round, second round, third round, fourth round, right? They're going to be sitting, the developmental, right? They'll be sitting on the sideline. So, all right. Then we got, hold on here. All right. Now, this story here, the Giants have not selected, okay, they may select a wide receiver in the top 6 picks for the first time in the team history. We got in the common draft era, the Giants never drafted. I'm not sure what the common draft era is. Franchise spent a wide out. Okay. So I guess the common draft is 1967. I guess that would be the AFL and the NFL. I guess that would be the common draft since 1967. Okay, so they haven't drafted a wideout in the top 6 since 1967. Well, basically, they really haven't ever drafted a wide receiver. Now, they drafted in 1951. They drafted Kyle Rote out of SMU, who was like a bat. He could kind of do it all. He was a unbelievable, fantastic college player. I believe he was kind of more or less like a back. But then he got injured and they wound up putting him out wide and he wound up becoming like the first star. He was picked for the first overall pick in the 1951 draft out of SMU. The Giants picked him. But I know he got injured. I believe he started off as a running back and he got injured. And then after that, he couldn't, he wasn't in the running back anymore. And they wound up putting him out wide as a receiver. And he wound up becoming pretty much the first star wide receiver the Giants ever had. So he was selected in the top 6 picks maybe not initially as a wide receiver, but he wound up becoming a wide receiver, especially when he retired after the 1961 season, I believe it was. But, the Giants have had quite a few picks in the top, matter of fact, and then they're talking in the common era, right, or whatever, since 1967 or 1965, the Giants had the first overall pick, and they took a running back. But it's hard to believe that is the case in New York. They've had some great receivers and special rookie years from wideouts in the past. That being said, they've never spent such a fantastic capital to help their quarterback at the wide receiver spot. Now they have an important decision to make. They will need to choose whether they want to make history with that 6th overall pick at wide receiver or go a different route. Choosing that path would surprise folks, as they have been a consistent landing spot for receivers in mock drafts. Taking Brock Bowers at tight end or an offensive tackle cannot be completely ruled out at this time either. Now, I mean, like with the Brock Bowers kind of thing, that's something, that they certainly can think about. There's a lot of really good wide receivers in this draft. Now, obviously, after the top 3, if they don't take a wide receiver, one of the pick 6, right, one of those top wide receivers, if they could certainly double dip, but they could certainly take another receiving weapon or whatever in the 2nd round, even in the 3rd round, and they would get themselves a very good wide receiver. They would not get a Dunzier, a Neighbors, or Harrison Jr., but they would get themselves a very good wide receiver in the 2nd round. Now, the thing would be with that is that they drafted Bowers. You're not going to get much out of the blocking with him, right? But that's why we have 37 blocking tight ends on the team, and we got Daniel Bellinger, who can be a decent blocker. He's got to do better than he did last year, but he has very good hands. But if we were to take Bowers, now you got yourself a receiving threat at the tight end position. Okay. You got Bellinger, who's good with his hands, can be a decent blocker. We have other blocking tight ends who can have maybe a 3rd tight end on, maybe Cager or one of the other, blocking tight ends that whoever makes the 53, and you can have Bowers. So now you're set at tight end. You got Bellinger, who's on his 3rd season. We brought Bowers in. He would be a rookie, right? You have a receiving threat that is a tight end for years to come. And then if you wanted to double dip in the 2nd round, you get yourself a wide receiver. You're not going to, he may or may not be a dog of your wide receiver, but if you drafted Bowers might turn into your dog, your number 1 receiving threat. But if you take a wide receiver in the 2nd round, you're going to get a really good wide receiver. You're going to get a really good wide receiver in the 2nd round, a couple up with Hyatt, Slayton, Robinson. Now, you may not have a top 5, top 10 receiving group, but you just made them a lot better by drafting somebody in the 2nd round. But then also, if you couple that up with maybe Bowers, Bellinger, and Cager, right? Now your tight end group is a lot better. So you have your wide receiver group got better, and your tight end group got better. And you can maybe use Bowers, quite possibly, as your number 1 receiver. What kind of maybe something like what the Giants wanted to do with Waller last season, right? Because he was the biggest weapon, right, or threat that the Giants had, a biggest mismatch. But unfortunately, due to his hamstrings, he wound up missing 5 games, and he may not even be on the Giants team anymore. We're still waiting for him to see if he's going to retire or not. But, with Bowers could be a mismatch for you without question, especially if you're not putting him out wide where somebody has their lockdown corner, right? You put their lockdown corner maybe on Hyatt or something like that, or so you can kind of move Bowers around a little bit and try to get some mismatches. And that would be huge. So, I said, don't keep that. I really doubt that they'd take Bowers, but who knows? Let's see here. So taking Brock Bowers at tight end or an offensive tackle cannot be completely ruled out at this time either. We will see what they choose. Of the top 3 wideouts, you really cannot go wrong with any of them. Yeah, they each have elite, exciting skill sets. So let's see if the Giants target one of them in round 1. Yeah, they said. I mean, the Giants. But I mean, the Giants have actually they took Ike Hilliard in 1997 with the 7th overall pick. Right. So, I mean, just because the Giants, see, if you go back to the first draft ever, 1936, okay, the Giants have picked in the top. This will be the 20th time the Giants have picked in the top 6, okay, of the NFL draft. They go back to 1936 when they took Art Lewis, their first overall pick, all right? But the Giants have never really taken a wide receiver, right? As I said, they took Kyle Rote, who was they tried to use him, I think, pretty much like as a running back until he got injured. Then they put him out wide, and he did wind up becoming a very, very good wide receiver for the Giants from 1951 to 1961, right? But then, what they were saying, in the modern era, the Giants have never taken a wide receiver in the top 6 picks. So let's see if they break the streak. I mean, once again, I mean, look at the Giants. I mean, I haven't taken a freaking linebacker in the first round since Carl Banks in 1984, right? Yeah. Well, they're not doing that this year either. I can tell you that much. They're not taking a linebacker in the first round. But things happen. You go on these long runs, and you just the positions change, right? I mean, you go back 30, 40 years ago, running backs were, cream of the crop. They were the top. You had a good running back out there. You're taking them in the top 10, top 5, top 20 or whatever. You could easily have 3 or 4 running backs go in the first round of a draft, right? Not anymore. I mean, they were saying they might go, I listened to some bunch of podcasts and all that stuff. They were saying as far as running backs this season, you may not get a running back in the first 50 picks. But then you might have like 5 or 10 in the next 50. From 51 to 100, you get 5 to 10 running backs being taken. Things change, right? But if the Giants were ever going to go and snap that streak and take a wide receiver in the first 6 picks of an NFL draft, this would be the season. Not only because they were picking in the top 6, but also because there's 3 really good blue chip wide receivers that be available. And as I said, there's almost no way that one of those 3 won't be there at 6. I mean, unless the Giants fall back, trade, and they want say the Vikings jump up with the Giants and the Giants fall back to number 11. Well, then obviously Neighbors, Dunze, and Harrison will be gone, right? But I'm saying, if the Giants stay at number 6, there's almost no way that 3 wide receivers are going in the top 5. With all these quarterbacks, I really find that hard to believe. So, the Giants ever going to snap that streak and take a wide receiver in the top 6 picks of an NFL draft? This would be the season, right? And I said, you can't. It doesn't seem like you can go wrong with any of them, right? 3 solid, absolute solid studs. Pick them and just they'll hopefully be your dog for years to come. Hopefully, what you not hopefully happens, kind of what happened with Odell Beckham Jr., right? Injuries, right? Just injury here and derail his season here, derail his season there. He's how many times he's been injured? Many times throughout his career, right? So, but if we take somebody, in the wide receiver, this would be it. This would be the year. And I'd be really absolutely ecstatic. I guess we'll have a real night. I mean, just think, Slayton. This is his 2nd season. We signed him last year to a 2-year contract. I hope we bring the guy back. I mean, after this season, I hope we bring him back. Right? But we brought back Isaiah Hodgins. Right? We got Slayton. Right? With Wan'Dale Robinson. You seen what a stud toward the end of last season he can really be. Even ABCD Lamb. Right? I can't stand the Cowboys, but hey. Listen to CD Lamb talk about Wan'Dale Robinson. He pointed him out, right? So I mean that was pretty special. I listened to that quite a few times. It just kind of hits me right here when you hear another dude's a stud. When you hear CD Lamb talking about one of your players, how good he is, that's kind of hit you right there. So, and I said, then we got Hyatt. Hopefully, if we can ever get Hyatt, working with his, maybe the routes a little bit better. Maybe, some of it you also got to figure is that we're trying to hit him deep. you can't hit somebody deep when you snap the ball and within half a second you have 13 defenders on your top of your quarterback. It's kind of tough to hit somebody deep. So if we can ever get a wall, our offensive line, right, to actually do any pass protection, Jalen Hyde will become much bigger of a weapon, right? So, and then finally, I'll tell you, I mean, it's like year in and year out, right? I mean, once again, the Giants get no love. Ain't getting no love from no sports betting or nothing like that. The Giants had 6 wins last season. I think they're at 6.5 this year. I mean, 6.5. Sportsbook expecting a brutal 2024 season for the Giants. So if you look, right, I mean, you're way down at the bottom down here, right? So we got, obviously, yeah, I mean, I can't, somehow they got the Falcons at 10.5. I mean, I guess, obviously, with the, adding of Cousins, but the Falcons, 10.5. So watch out for them. But you got the Dolphins, the Bills, the Cowboys, the Packers, the Bengals, the Lions. Absolutely, you can't argue with any of these. I can't stand the Eagles, so I'm not even gonna talk about them. You got the Jets at 9.5. Now it's not fair. I mean, they got a great defense. If they can actually keep Rodgers upright without him getting injured or whatever like that, yeah, it's hard to argue with that. You can't argue with 9.5 with or 8.5 with the Steelers. Right, 8, 9 with those Steelers, because all the Steelers do with Tomlin there as coach is win. Now let's see, can the Texans build on what they did last season? Right, the Browns can't argue with 8.5 wins there. The Chargers with Herbert, Jacksonville, But as I said, I mean, the Giants once again, no love. What do we got? The Patriots and the Panthers at 4.5. Then they got the Broncos, the Titans, Broncos and the Titans at 5.5. Then they got the Giants are kind of clustered here together. The Giants, the Raiders, the Vikings, and the Cardinals, all 6.5 wins. Somehow the Commanders, I mean, the Commanders, the Giants have beaten 332 times in a row, right? Somehow the Commanders are projected to have more wins than the Giants, somehow. The Commanders brought in 342 different free agents. Now, that's not really the best way to build a football team. They got, I think, a new GM in there, and I guess he had some money to throw around. So what's he do? I mean, it's like every other report I was seeing, the Commanders signed so-and-so, Commanders bring in so-and-so. I mean, bringing 315 different new players to add to your team is not the best way to go about building a football team for the future. Maybe bringing in some free agents if you're really close to the Super Bowl door, right? Knocking on that Super Bowl door, and you want to bring in a couple real big studs or something like that. Get your chips all in the middle of the table or something like that. I could see that. But I mean, with the Commanders, I mean, they were just they got a new coach. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how they can figure they're going to have 7.5. How they're going to have more wins than the Giants. I'm not really sure. When they haven't beaten the Giants since Dwight Eisenhower was in office, I don't understand it. New coach, all of these new players coming in. Somehow they expect that they're all going to gel and get almost 8 wins. The Commanders are going to go 8-9 somehow, somewhere around there. I don't know. But once again, as usual, the Giants don't get much love. Okay. And they got the Giants at 6.5 wins. Whew. Now this here, the team that jumps out immediately is the Falcons, who are coming off a 7-10 season, but are tied for the second highest projected win total, 10.5. The biggest thing would be the addition of Kirk Cousins there, right? But sportsbooks expecting a brutal 2024 season for the Giants. Somehow between average and mediocre, that's where the sports books are projecting the 2024 New York Giants. BetRivers Sportsbook has set the Giants win total at 6.5 wins, with bettors smashing the under down to -162. Including the absurd juice towards the under, the Giants have the 5th lowest win total expectation in the NFL, according to BetRivers, ahead of only the Panthers, the Patriots, the Titans, and the Broncos. Big Blue comes into this season having let running back Saquon Barkley go. Yeah, I'm Xavier McKinney. talk about bringing in Burns, I guess. I don't know. Giants will probably not be making much noise come January, but sportsbooks aren't giving terrible odds on the Giants to make the playoffs. Plus 375. For reference, the Broncos, who win total projection comes in at 6.5, are 425 to make the playoffs, despite nearly identical odds on their win total projection. That doesn't necessarily make sense, though, as the Giants have the second worst Super Bowl odds in the NFL. A wild number. This is wrong. 151 to win it all. That's something's wrong there. I think that's wrong. But the only team with worse odds on better is the Bryce Young-led Carolina Panthers, 200 to 1. Oh, okay. Well, I guess maybe 151. I guess then. It could have something to do with the Giants' tough division, as Bet Rivers gives them the worst odds in the division at 10 to 1 to win the NFC East. So I mean, obviously they got somehow the Commanders have better odds, I guess, winning the East than the Giants do somehow. And it's a virtual tie who's going to come in first. They got the Eagles and the Cowboys both at a plus 120 and 125 respectively to win the division. So basically, once again, the Eagles and the Cowboys, as of right now, are the kind of at the cream of the crop, or whatever. And then apparently the Giants and Commanders are going to battle it out for who comes in the basement once again. Well, I can't see Giants less than 8. This hell. I mean, I'd have a hard. I mean, as bad as that they were last season. I mean, with all the injuries and all this, if Graham Gano kicks that field goal against the Jets, we had a chance to beat the Rams. I mean, we were so close. I mean, obviously, woulda, coulda, shoulda. Right? Woulda, coulda, shoulda. But, a play here, a play there. The Giants could have had 8 wins last season with Daniel Jones got injured twice. Tyrod Taylor in and out of the lineup. We had a third-string quarterback in there. Won 3 games for us. A third-string quarterback. Our offensive line gave up the second most sacks of all time in history of the NFL. 80-5. All bad luck, bad this, bad that, and everything. I mean, we still won 6 games. And for somehow, with all of that, and they think that the Giants are going to win about the same amount of games? Really? Yeah. I don't know. I mean, if the Giants can stay healthy, to your point, if they can stay healthy, man, once again, I mean, I can't. There's no way I can see them winning 6 games. If they stay healthy with some good draft picks, right? Especially if they draft a wide receiver number 1, right? That's some automatic boom. That's some juice to the offense, right? If they can stay healthy, right, and to get that number 1 wide receiver in there, I can't see there's no way they're winning just 6. I'd have a hard time. Especially that hard schedule last season. Really hard schedule last season. I mean, I can't just see him win 6 games. I mean, I'm sorry, I can't see that. I mean, I'm right there with you. If they can stay healthy, right, draft the number 1 wide receiver, right, I 8 wins at the minimum. Yeah, I mean, 8, absolutely. 8, 9 wins, very, very doable. So, I mean, if I'm a betting man, I'm not. I don't bet. I learned my lesson over 25 years ago. Well, I lost 7 times in a row. I'm like, get the out of here. I don't bet. I ain't bet. I will not bet. Never, ever again. Never, ever, 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 ever bet again. But if I was a bet man, whatever the 6.5 wins, I'm betting the Giants for the over without question. I said the only way that they're going to, get under 6 and say they're going to win 5 or 6 games this season, they would have to, once again, I really think, get decimated by injuries. I mean, Daniel Jones would have to get injured. Drew Lock would have to get injured. The whole offensive line would have to be a total mess. That would have to get major injuries all over the place for them to only win 5 or 6 games. I will have a hard time believing that. I said, if I was a bet man, take the over with the 6.5 for the Giants win total. All right, guys, been 59 minutes, almost 1 hour. Guys, man, I'll tell you what, good talking to you guys, man. Thank you. I mean, especially because that should be best in the D-line. Oh, yeah. And I'll tell you what, boy, they're dealing. What I'd like to see, Probably ain't going to happen. What I'd like to see if they took a defensive lineman in the second round, not in the first round, obviously, but if they can get when pick 47 rolls around, if there's a real nice defensive lineman there, they took one, put him next to Sexy Dexy, especially maybe if there's some, or maybe even, I don't know, maybe move up. There's somebody in the 30s or something like that. They really got the Ryan, maybe move up. Man, if you got Burns and you get a healthy Azeez Ojulari coming in from time to time, and you got Kayvon, you got Sexy Dexy, and you draft a nice defensive lineman in the second round, somebody who's really good against the run, maybe can get a little pressure in the pocket and all that, they'd have a great defensive line. That would be huge. Absolutely. That would help stop the run and get pressure on the quarterback. It's like a 2-for-1. Absolutely. All right, guys. Now it's been over 1 hour. So whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching the replay, just once again, thank you so much from our heart. Means the world to me. Thank you. As always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.